We are live on Facebook. Let's get live on, we're live on YouTube. Let's get live on Facebook. Work doesn't always work well for me. I think I'm getting better about it. Hope everybody had a great week. Sorry about the missing last week. That was a unplanned, unscheduled deviation from the normal schedule, unfortunately. Had a case of the flu run its way through the house. I dodged it, but unfortunately other people in my family did not. But let's jump in here. It's great to see everybody. Thank you for being here. Give me one moment while I publish this in a few other places, share it around, and hopefully we can help a lot of people get their cord cutting questions answered today. All right, so how was everybody week? I know it's been a little slow in cord cutting news the last few weeks, or the last few days, but last week there's been a ton of news. DirecTV Now added a few new channels, got some more details on the Comcast upcoming streaming service. No, we do not know when YouTube is coming to DirecTV Now. Or excuse me, DirecTV Now is coming to Roku. Like I said, I'm just not talking and working well today. We'll get better at it. But as you see this, say hello. Let me know that this is working and that you can hear me. Hope you guys can all hear me. And we will go from there. So, and let's keep the thing going. All right. And a couple other big news events happening. Hello, David. PlayStation Vue is still rolling out new features, new apps. They got that new game channel coming in. Terry, Kathy, good to see you here. Ben, good to see you there. And so it's great to see you all. Ben asks, why are the Apple TV apps so much nicer than Roku apps? They're newer. Apple TV did not have an app store until a year and a half ago. So all the apps, with the exception of ones like Netflix and so forth, which are pretty consistent. You look at Netflix and Apple TV, you look at Netflix on Roku, very similar experience. But they are new. They're newer because Roku has had an app store since the late 2000s, and Apple only had one about a year and a half ago. So everything made on Apple, available on Apple, has been made basically in the last year and a half. That's typically why they look better. Now, if you look at Roku, they've been doing a lot to improve the quality of their apps. They've announced that if you're still using the older app format on the Roku, that by the end of next year, they're going to discontinue that and your app is no longer going to work. Roku's doing that to force older apps to update and get the new, more beautiful interface. And you're seeing that with the Twitter app, the Comcast app, the MLB app updated recently with a very beautiful interface. Roku is fully capable of as beautiful an interface as all the others. They've just been around longer. People haven't bothered to update their apps, and that's kind of what's happening. Ryan asks, any updates on planned release of new devices from Amazon, Apple, etc.? Nothing official. They're all still, though, pointing to late in 2017. There is a rumor of a high-end new Fire TV box to replace the current Fire TV box with HDR and other features. That is scheduled for some time late this year, but there's a leak, and it's a leak of some specs that suggest that Apple may come out with a third device. So you got this Amazon. Let me take a drink of water. Let's restart this conversation. Apparently, I'm not over my flu. Because my brain is everywhere today. Amazon has a middle-of-the-road device coming out. So that'll be the third. You got the stick on the low end, this new rumored streaming media player in the middle, and then a high-end one. So we'll see what happens. But as far as timeline for Apple TV and so forth, no, we don't know anything on that. Other than everything points to fall, winter this year. David says Roku's been doing that for 2 years, forcing apps update. No and yes. They have been pushing apps update for a while. About a month ago, they announced that, hey, we really mean it. If you don't update your app, we're going to discontinue your app. We're going to remove it from the App Store, and it won't work on existing apps. So yeah, David, they have been trying for a while, but I think Roku just kind of got fed up and said, guess what? If you don't do it, tough luck, we're going to remove you from the App Store. And that won't really affect like Netflix and Hulu because they're already on the newest, most common app program that they use. What is the number one app for live TV with the most watched stations? The number one subscription live TV service for cord cutters is Sling TV. By subscribers, they have over 1 million. the last we heard back in March was DirecTV Now and PlayStation Vue only had 400,000 each, according to the Discovery CEO. So he's getting paid for 400,000 subscribers for both of those, roughly. So if you're just looking at subscriber count, Sling is, but that's not really the whole thing. Each one offers something for everyone, and get the one that fits you. If you're a Big Ten fan, Sling is not a good one because they don't have the Big Ten network. If you're a Pac-12 fan, Sling is the one you want because they have the Pac-12 network. So try them all out. They all offer free trials. Nothing to lose to try it out. Barry asks, I asked you a couple of weeks ago, with the recent agreement between DirecTV Now and local stations like NBC, when might we see them added to DirecTV Now? You said it involves server placement. You also said it should check with the networks to find out more about my market. How would I even go about calling a major network to find out about my local market? Well, you don't call it a major network because the major network 9 times out of 10 does not own your local market. Your local market is owned by another company, Sinclair, Tribune, so forth. Just look up your local NBC affiliate if that's who you want to talk to. Call their office and tell them. And if you look it up on Google, you type in your call signals of your local one and type in Wikipedia, you'll find an article about it, and it will say owned by Sinclair, owned by Tribune, and so forth. And you can call that company. The truth is, like Fox owns less than like 5% of their stations. I don't know, it's somewhere in that range. They own just a handful of them. As most people out there, they just resold the rights to all this. So check it out. It's a lot of legal FCC reasons why there are affiliates and so forth, and preventing people from owning more than X amount of a market, and it gets complicated, more than I have time for here. But yeah, just call your local TV station, the physical office, and talk to them. So the general manager there should be able to help you. And he would probably love to hear from you too, that you want them on XYZ. Just be polite. What apps you know of on Roku that need to be updated? Most of them are the older ones. A lot of them are the smaller channels they probably don't hear a lot about, with the older horizontal rows of icons and so forth. Those are the ones that are going to be forced to be updated. Again, apps like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, they all run the newer, more powerful APKs and so forth, so don't worry about that. Will you be reviewing any of the new Clearstream Max series of antennas? Yes, I have recently made a contact over at Antennas Direct. They're a great company. One of the companies I would suggest checking out if you're looking for an antenna. And I will be reaching out to them for a review unit coming up here soon. Uncreated Light says, deciding between Roku 3 and Premiere Plus. Don't need 4K, $15 difference. Save and get a Roku 3. I would get the Roku Premiere Plus. I think there is a couple things. It is a little bit more powerful. You may not need 4K now, but what happens if in a year your TV dies? Most decent TVs now do come with 4K. $15, I would spend the money just so I didn't have to, a year from now, if my TV dies and I decide I want 4K, and I end up having to buy it. I also think the Premiere line of TVs is a superior, especially the Premiere Plus compared to Roku 3 is a superior player. David says, I'm hearing about a Verizon streaming service in June, but maybe only current Verizon service areas. Yes, that current Verizon service area is a rumor because there's no leaks of them striking new deals to allow them to stream outside of their market. If they successfully renegotiated all the contracts without that breaking, that would be pretty impressive. So that's an educated guess floating around right now. We'll have to wait and see. It may not come out in June. It may just be announced in June. And it would be late June because the Verizon Yahoo deal, they say they want to have closed first, according to the Verizon CEO. That happens, I believe, mid-June. So expect mid to late June to have that there. Christian asks, how do you like the Air TV versus the Roku for Sling? If the only thing you're doing on it is Sling, the Air TV is a very nice player for that. Roku still has a lot more apps than Android TV, Amazon Video being one of the big ones on that. So It depends on what you want. The Air TV is super easy to use, integration. It's the kind of device I'll get my parents. So check that out. But the Roku is a lot cheaper. It does a lot more. So whatever fits your needs. Josh asks, "What will there be an Apple TV this year?" Yes, there has been rumors that a 4K version of Apple TV now is coming out. Now the interesting thing is they were awfully specific, saying no HDR support, which would be a major error on Apple's part, but would not be unusual for Apple to say, "Never mind, we're not going to get a 4K one." So unfortunately, that is kind of what Apple does. Probably won't be until fall or winter 2017. Why would an ISP tolerate any competition post net neutrality? Because there is competition, Ashley. If you think about it, there's at least, in most areas, I know there's somebody who say, "Oh, I have no other option." And I used to live in an area like that where the only option was DSL for me for a little while. But most areas have multiple ISPs. And just because let me back up. Just because net neutrality may end, it doesn't break antitrust laws too. And this is a very complicated issue, but here's my thing. The sky is not falling. Cord cutting is not going away if the government does reclassify the internet. Everything's going to be okay. Antitrust laws are still there. Competition's still there. And I'm a firm believer that 5G, I've seen a lot of it. I've met with companies that are working on 5G. I've talked a lot about it. The new internet standard that's going to allow gigabyte speeds, wireless or over the air, is going to mean soon you're going to have 4 or 5 different options for home internet. And when you start getting 4 or 5 different options for home internet, guess what? Competition drives down price. Competition will get rid of data caps. Competition is what we need. And I will stand by that night and day. We need competition more than we need anything else. So that's my main hope. But if I can say anything to you, and the reason I sound good is I hear a lot of people are panicking about net neutrality, that the world's going to come to an end. And let me tell you right now, the world is not coming to an end. So hopefully that helps answer all your questions. Stefan asks, YouTube TV support for other streaming devices, especially Android/NVIDIA Shield. Not right now. Of course, with Android and NVIDIA TV and NVIDIA Shield, you can use the Chromecast feature, where you cast your video from your phone or tablet to your receiver on the Android TV line. So that is still an option out there that you can try out. But I think YouTube's making a big mistake by not making apps and supporting other devices. They did add AirPlay, not an app for the Apple TV, but the AirPlay, the Apple version of Chromecast, we'll call it, just to, if you don't know what that is. And yeah, so I think it's a major mistake. I think it's holding them back. I'm not a fan of their idea of only offering it in markets where they get all the locals. I think that's a poor decision on their end, but you know what? It's Google. They want to push their products. Yeah, John, you know, what you need to, John posts that he used the AT&T hotspot, no other option for home internet other than satellite. 5G is what you're hoping for. And I've seen them, they're rolling them out, and they're making plans. Verizon's spending $1 billion to run more fiber to their cell phone towers to get ready for fiber or 5G with their fiber network backbone. And that will mean you can get gigabyte speeds in an area like you where you couldn't get in past. For me, what that's going to mean is now I'm going to get a DSL option, a cable option. I'm also going to have a, you know, Verizon, AT&T, Dish, Charter, the list goes on and on. Google's launching a 5G network. You know, that's the hope there, you know, and hopefully for you, that helps you out. Hustle Mania, I see you say, are you going to ignore my question? I sadly did not see your question. Can you re-ask it? I apologize. I got Facebook on this screen with people asking questions, and I got YouTube on this screen asking questions. Sometime, you know, you may have to ask your question a couple times. I'm not scrolling around because it kind of screws up the live feed. So if I miss it, just let me know. David asks, does AirTV have apps you can install for streams by local content? David, AirTV is a full Android TV device. So all the apps you can install on an Android TV player, you can install on the AirTV. So hopefully that answers your question there. I'll jump over to Facebook again, and Hearing Viacom joined with a couple other channels or two with their own cheap streaming service. No sports or all their expensive channels. Yeah, so Viacom, Discovery, and AMC are all talking about launching both a cable package and possibly a streaming service with no news. So no news, no sports. The downside of that is companies that own news and sports channels are saying, we're not going to work in that. We're not going to make it available. Could they in the future? Could that be a negotiating tactic? Sure. But if you think about Disney and Fox and CBS and NBC, all those family channels, Showtime, FX, the list goes on and on and on, are all kind of thinking, we don't want to be a part of that because if sports and news are how we make most of our money. Like 90 of the 100 most watched events in 2016 were sports and news. So we'll see. I've talked to several industry insiders that are looking at that and kind of laughing. Like, basically what's happening is Viacom wants to charge $20. You get Viacom, AMC, and Discovery owned channels. And that's it. The good thing for Viacom, Discovery, AMC is they get a bigger piece of the pie. The bad thing for you is you could go to Sling for $20 and get a lot more channels. And sure, there may be a couple more, like I'm sure they'll throw in like the MTV Classic channel and the VH1 3 or whatever it's called nowadays. You know, those channels, you know, the third tier channels that you are kind of hard to find nowadays. But I wonder how successful that's going to be with no Fox, ABC, Disney, NBC Universal, etc. ones. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there, David. Bill, will there be an option for current Apple TV owners? No way to know, Bill. We'll have to wait and see when it comes out. I tried the PBS streamer? No, it's on pre-order right now, I believe. I can order online, but I haven't done that yet. I'll have to... Nick, that new kids streamer for PBS Kids is a streaming stick for kids from PBS. I'm going to write myself a little note here, and I'm going to set up a review of that. No idea when that will actually happen, but thanks for reminding me. I will see what I can do to make that happen. John asks, are we ever going to be able to pick and choose stations or channels we want versus choosing packages? Yes, we will, but I believe the first step of that is going to be packages. I believe the first step of any true a la carte system will be like, hey, you can buy 10 channels for X amount of dollars and you pick those 10 channels. I think that's most likely to be the first step of that. Eventually we may be able to get where we are having you pick, if you want 3 channels, you get 3 channels and so forth. But let's be very honest here. The reality of the situation, if we go to a la carte, many stations like CNN are just not going to be here anymore. Not enough people watch CNN to justify their cost. And if it is here, it's going to be just a fraction the size of what it used to be. So, yeah. So, unfortunately, it's going to take a while. It's probably going to mean a lot of stations just are not going to make it. MTV2, probably not going to make it. Do they even have that? MTV Classic, probably not going to make it. I don't think enough people will subscribe to that. And so on. Yeah. So we'll keep an eye on it. Any news on when DirecTV Now will come out with DVR capability? No. Last I heard is that is still on the table. They are still working on that. And they'll keep moving on. Housemania says, how was your weekend? My weekend was great. We had family in. My wife's family was in town all weekend. And we had some big events. So that was a lot of fun. Ashley says, looking forward to Hulu Live when it reaches Roku. I am too. I kind of hope it comes out of Roku soon. I have all the other devices. It would just be easier if it was on Roku. Are we ever go, this year, MTV Classic is the only one I'd pay for. It actually has music. Does MTV Classic? I think they only have a couple blocks. Last time I looked at the MTV Classic lineup, it was like Real World, Road Rules, etc. Stuff I remember fondly, those classics. So, yeah, Road Rules is now a classic TV show. Let's let that all settle in there for a minute. Nick says he just saw the PBS streaming stick at Walmart. That's good. I didn't think it was going to come out for like another week. That's great though. I hear that though. I'll have to check my local Walmart. When will Mohu Airwave come out? No set date yet. They have not announced it. They say sometime probably next month or two. You know, MTV is an interesting thing. I had listened to an interview. I didn't do it. I listened to it on Marketplace with the president of MTV. He's been the president of MTV for a while, if I remember right. And he basically said the toughest thing about MTV is we reinvent ourselves. He goes, people in their 30s always tell me MTV sucks now. You know, it's not what it used to be. And he's like, yeah, it's not supposed to be what it used to be. He goes, we don't want to age with our audience. We always want to be that high schooler, young 20s, high schooler, middle school kids age range. So every so many years, they reboot the show to kind of meet the demographic of middle schoolers through college, let's say, of that time frame. And that means that you guys and me who are in our 30s and so forth now and 40s, it's just not what you want it to be, and it's just what it is. And that's the issue with cable. They have demographics. They're going to meet it, and either you're going to fit into it or you're not. And where cord cutting allows a lot more flexibility in that with streaming and so forth. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But, you know, they got the MTV Classic channel, and you can go online and buy past seasons on Amazon or something. So, is Apple done with the living room, you think? Apple has definitely had a hard run of it in the living room. I know people tell me, well, they've sold a lot of boxes. There's a couple issues with that number. Say, Apple's sold more boxes. They sell them worldwide. When you look at Roku, they only sell in the U.S. Apple's in 4th place in the United States. And that's they're in 4th place in the United States, and I believe they're in 3rd place in most of Europe and Canada. And Roku and Fire TV are kind of dominating them right now. And Chromecast 2 is sales-wise doing better. Usage-wise is another story we won't get into. So they've definitely had a hard road of it. Word is Apple is making a big play. A lot of inside sources have told me, I've said this publicly before, that internal sales of the Apple TV 4 have been very disappointing, and it's part of the reason they agreed to do the Apple TV deal with DirecTV Now, to try to flood the market with Apple TVs because sales were disappointing from their internal expectations. So if the next Apple TV that comes out this winter bombs, that could be it for Apple. We'll wait and see. That next one needs to do well for Apple. And if it doesn't, and they don't get out of 4th place, you do wonder how long Apple will continue. They may. I mean, they got money to burn. But Apple and Google right now, I think a lot of people are wondering how serious they are about the living room. Google just had their Google I/O, their big press conference, and they talked about Chromecast. They talked about everything under the sun. They did not mention Android TV once. No NVIDIA Shield, no MyBox or MeBox, whatever they call it, and so on. So there is a big question there about how serious Google and Apple will be if they don't see some improvement in sales for both of them. Joseph asked, what's the day with YouTube TV being only available in select cities? When will Hulu Live be available on the Fire TV? I don't know either one. What's happened with YouTube TV is they've decided that if they can't get all the locals at the same time in every market, they won't release there. They're going to try to go market to market to market and push the idea that they have locals. I think the thing they're struggling with, and what I'm hearing is the cities they're launching on traditionally have good over-the-air coverage. Maybe in downtown it's a little bad, but traditionally it's good over-the-air coverage. So just having locals isn't quite as big of a deal for them. YouTube TV's also got this idea that if they just only make it available on phones and tablets, they'll get millennials somehow. I struggle with I have real issues with YouTube TV's business model across the board, period. I don't think they're making many smart decisions. But that's why they're doing it. They want to make it so that every market where they're out there, they have all the locals to make it more like a cable experience. Johnson says, it's amazing with all the streaming options coming out for antenna viewing and streaming. Yeah, it's crazy. More over-the-air TV stations are launching. We have Verizon, Comcast, VidGo is still in the works out there. We'll see when that ever comes out and so on, launching live TV streaming services. YouTube TV is going to roll out. Hulu's still in beta with theirs. They're going to come out with more. So I'm really excited about where cord cutting is going, streaming is going. It's all coming there. Apple TV needs to stop being behind everyone else and be ahead of others like Roku, which is cheaper. Apple TV has been doing a good job of getting apps recently. That used to be a big issue with Apple, and it still is an issue for Apple a little bit. They still are missing some apps, but they are worlds ahead of where they were a year ago. A year ago, I would have said, don't get an Apple TV. It's missing too many services, not worth it. Now let's say, if you like the Apple iTunes Store and you buy a lot of your stuff on the iTunes Store, get an Apple TV. If you're completely sold out on that, get that. They still are missing some. Roku, for some reason, Roku used to always be the device with everything first. Sling TV came to Roku first. The list goes on and on. But recently, Roku has been a little bit behind on that, and they say they're working on that. So I'm not really sure why. Everybody says they're coming to Roku. Hulu's coming to Roku. Hulu's coming to Fire TV. DirecTV Now coming to Roku, right? But who knows why it hasn't been there yet. So we'll have to wait and see. Apple's got some stuff. I think the problem with Apple is it's an HD player, no 4K, for $150. You can't download movies or TV shows to the hard drive. That would be a kill feature. They have a big hard drive on there. I would love the ability to go to iTunes, buy a movie, download it to the device, take that with me to a cruise, to a cabin where there's no internet, and have all my stuff. Or if I live in a data cap, download stuff that I know I like to watch repeatedly, like my kids' Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Apple is sitting on a gold mine. They just don't seem to be willing to execute on a few of the things, like being more aggressive on price point. 4K, let's be honest. If you're buying a new TV today, a lot of people buy a new TV, they buy a streaming player to go with it. You buying a 4K TV, or are you going to buy an HD streaming player? Or are you going to buy that Roku, which is $50 cheaper, but offers 4K? So, that's my stance on the Apple TV. I think they could really make it happen there. Ashley, yes, the Big Ten Network is on Fubo TV. I'm not sure if this is a repost, but Mohu Airwave probably in the next couple months. Facebook is being really weird again. It's not updating properly on the streams. Will the frequency auctions, Dave asked, will the frequency auctions make it more affordable for streaming companies or affect their ability to stream more local channels? Streaming auctions won't have anything to do with streaming local channels. Just doesn't affect it all. The streaming auction basically sells over-the-air TV spectrum, channel 12, whatever, to internet and cell phone companies, internet companies. And for instance, T-Mobile has bought enough spectrum that in a few years they'll have the same network coverage as Verizon does, and so forth. And they're hoping to use that to launch their 5G network and others. Verizon didn't buy much. They have a big network, and that spectrum wasn't needed for 5G. It just makes it easier for 5G if you're like T-Mobile and had a lot of blank spots in your network. AT&T bought some. The list goes on and on. So check that out. The FCC auction basically just means over the next year and a half, a channel may be on 22 now. It may be on channel 15 next year for you. So you may have to do a rescan on your channels. All those channels will still rebroadcast, and you'll probably see them upgrade to 3.0 with this transition. Why is that important that they're upgrading 3.0? 3.0 offers 4K on demand, a lot of other stuff. Talking to many executives in the both antenna manufacturing and TV side at the NAB show last month, they both told me the 3.0 standard does a better job penetrating buildings, wood, obstacles. So you'll probably see a better over-the-air TV reception. They won't tell me how much better, but they said you'll be a noticeable improvement in over-the-air reception with 3.0. How difficult is it to hook up a Tableau DVR? John, super easy. Super, super easy. If you can hook up a DVD player or a PlayStation, you can hook up a Tableau. It really is. They'll walk you right through it. If the FCC changes net neutrality, what's going to happen to everything online? Nothing, Frank. I mean, let's be honest. Net neutrality has only been around a couple years. Cord cutting was here before net neutrality. The internet was here before net neutrality. Be careful about doomsday stories. Writing a story with a doomsday title, I'll tell you, I run a site. Sensational, negative stories make money. The more negative the story is, the more you could die tonight. Find out at 11 on the news. I mean, we see it all the time. It just doom and gloom sells money. People are more willing to read an article if they think it's going to negatively affect them than if they think it's going to positively affect them. So take everything with a grain of salt. Let's see how this plays out. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not the end of the world. It's just not. I said it. Cord cutting is not going to come to an end because of neutrality. No matter what your view is, if we should have it or if we shouldn't have it, even if it goes away, cord cutting is not going away. It's just what it is. Christian, Tableau has a stick for Android devices. It's not really so much a DVD or DVR. Their DVRs are going to stay there. They have a cloud DVR service coming out. They have a software for Android to basically be the software side of a DVR coming out. So Tableau's got a few things coming out soon. Also, yeah, Roku 3, I got a Roku HD. Roku's run a long time. Like you said, you got your Roku 3 from 2011. It still runs great. That's awesome. And that's kind of why when people ask me, should I get a Roku 3 or should I get a Roku Premiere Plus, that is why I suggest getting the Premiere Plus because they last so long. Your TV is likely to fail before your Roku does. And that way you can go and get go out there and get the ability to not have to buy a new streaming player if you buy a new TV. That's what I'm trying to say. Hey, YouTube fans, gotta support my family. We're gonna play a quick ad. This should be a 15-seconder if it's set up right. And then we'll come right back here. But bear with me. This helps pay the bills so I can keep my daughter in shoes, which she's constantly outgrowing. Yeah, okay, well that goes through real quick on YouTube, on Facebook. Let's take a look and see if we got any new questions over there real quick. Xfinity Mobile, yeah, Michael, that's just a cell phone service that basically I believe they're rebranding Verizon and a few others and reselling it. So pretty much everybody's trying to get into that, and we'll see what happens with that. Wait for all right, YouTube, welcome back. Hey, thank you greatly for sitting through that ad. It really does helps pay the bills and all this. So let's keep the questions coming. If I haven't answered it, put it at the bottom. But real quick, since we got a lot of people here, we are giving away a Roku Premiere Plus right now and a SideClick. So right here is the Roku Premiere Plus, brand new in the box, unopened. SideClick remote, which is really cool. It attaches to your Roku remote. It's a universal remote, and it allows you to program all kinds of buttons here, volume, TV, power, inputs, and so forth. I love this because then I don't have to have two remotes, and I still get the full function of my original Roku remote. They have Apple TV, Fire TV versions, and a few others. So check that out. But go to CoreCarsNews.com. May have to go to page 2. After this thing, right now the banner's promoting the Q&A, but after that's done, you will find it over there. So sorry, something popped up on my computer screen. It was a message. I had a work message. So yeah, so go to CoreCarsNews.com, enter the giveaway. Any news? Nope. As Google Play All Access Music subscriber, I don't see that advert, thank goodness. Yeah, if you're a YouTube Red or so on subscriber, you don't see that. But I get a ding from that anyways, even from your subscription. So ads, I mean, like it or not, ads are the way sites like mine stay open. They just are. Core Cars News would not be around if it wasn't for ads. I'm a one-man operation, a few part-time people now, but 99.9% of all that stuff you see on the on Facebook, on Twitter, on the site, it all comes from me. So you help keep my family fed and alive. I got a Roku Premiere Plus with the Sling TV offer. Yeah, not a bad offer from Sling there. Yeah, so any news on channel updates for View or history? No, PlayStation View hasn't said anything about any new channels. They got that esports one coming out, but that's been known for a little while now. If we hear anything, I'll let you know. They did mention Rosie. Yes, Google did announce a new Android TV user interface, but at Google I/O during the press conference, they did not talk about it. They did not mention the name Android TV. They talked about Chromecast extensively, not Android TV. And the announcement of the new Google Android TV user interface was at a sub kind of panel thing that was kind of buried and not promoted. And yeah, it's like, Google, are you even serious about Android TV? If I was NVIDIA, I'd be kind of like, Google, give me some reassurances right now that we're not pouring millions of dollars in there to, have you back out on us like they did with Google TV. No update on Hulu Live TV, sorry, for Roku or Fire TV. They have not announced anything about that. Yeah, Brian, I don't know anything about YouTube TV adding Food Network to that. Sorry, they haven't announced anything to my knowledge. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's been any announcement on Food Network. So, are theaters almost irrelevant? No, I think theaters are just not what they used to be. But still, a lot of people still enjoy the whole experience of going to movie theaters. So, no, I don't think movie theaters are irrelevant. I just don't think they're going to be as big as they used to be. Where can we donate to help out run the site? Christian, patreon.com/CourtCardsNews, patreon.com. Let me leave a link to it on Facebook. And yep, there's a link to it on Facebook. I'll put it in YouTube too. If you'd like to donate, you can do it right there on patreon.com/CourtCuttersNews. Hopefully that helps you find what you want. No update on DirecTV Now and Roku. Nope. Talked to both Roku. I've talked to AT&T, and they both said we're working on it. It's coming as soon as possible. Not necessarily in those words. So I hope that answers your question on that. So no news on Hulu Live, no news on YouTube TV, and no news on DirecTV Now right now. As soon as anything's official, I'll be the first to post about it. At least I'll try to be. So keep the questions coming. Hearing Amazon might try dipping into live streaming services. David, yeah, I posted about that today. Basically, sources close to that effort for a live streaming service from Amazon basically said that the Amazon channels, where you can subscribe to individual channels, has been so successful, they've delayed any plans of a live TV streaming service in the esque of a Sling TV, DirecTV Now, PlayStation View-esque type service where you buy bundles. So we'll have to wait and see. Do you know if other services have Fox Sports Plus like Hulu does? I believe PlayStation View does, Sling TV does. Somebody tell me, does DirecTV Now also include the bonus ones like Fox Sports Detroit Plus when they're airing two events at the same time? Somebody help me out there. Will Sinclair add new channels in their markets, on their new or large markets? You know what, Chris? Sinclair's buying Tribune. That deal needs to be approved by the FCC. They're months away from even probably getting a hearing on that. It's way too early to know what Sinclair will do with all the over-the-air TV stations they're buying, because Tribune-owned stations are now going to become Sinclair-owned stations. Though Tribune just did bring me their Fox affiliates to Hulu. So that's good news. Lots of news on network deals, ABC, Any thoughts on when those streaming services will begin mass local rollouts? Two things need to happen. Just because CBS got rights to negotiate on behalf of their affiliates, now they need to go and actually negotiate with their affiliates or on behalf of their affiliates. So that's going to take a little while. FCC rules require the server be actually inside the physical market where this that station is. So if you're streaming a station in Michigan, in that city, in that market, that's where the server needs to be for that one. And you can't just buy any old server. They need to be locked down in certain ways, encrypted to prevent piracy, basically. I've learned this from a couple of different live streaming services. Basically, you just can't have these servers on any old network. They want to know that there's reasonable expectation that this isn't going to be easily turned into piracy, basically. That before they'll grant you permission to stream their channel through your service. They don't want to put that up and then have 10,000 people just watch it through a piracy because your server wasn't secure. So even after the deal is done, there's certain back-end things that need to happen. But it could be within a month. It could be within 2 months. Those are kind of aggressive timetables. If, I wouldn't be surprised in sometime in June if we hear from, Sling or PlayStation View or so forth that ABC agreed to allow all their stations be streamed on, that they have the affiliate rights to be streamed on those services. And that would be my early one, is sometime maybe June, maybe July at the earliest. Julie, always happy to try to be as informative as possible and help as many people get the most out of their cord cutting experience as possible. I think it would be more logical for the United States to have Freeview server. Isn't that where, like in Europe, it's a must carry? They have to have over-the-air TV, and then they also stream it online. U.S. is just different laws, different markets. Two, a lot of people ask this, how come in Germany everybody can go over their TV? Germany's fairly flat and it's fairly small. Even where I know Germany's not complete. There's very mountainous areas of Germany, very true, but it's small. Germany fits easily inside Texas with a ton of room to spare. When you're wiring for that size, it's very easy to say, yeah, we got 100% market in the state of Ohio. Ohio has 100% market. United States, there's a lot of empty land in the United States that most other countries don't have. So that will always be an issue there. Different laws, different political things. The idea of having the government mandate that companies put up cell phone towers is just, kind of one of those weird things that we just don't do here. What's the best TV antenna for cord cutting? Indoor, outdoor? I won't recommend a particular antenna, but I'll recommend some brands. Mohu, Anker, and Turk antennas aren't too bad, and Antenna Direct. Those are kind of roughed out in my head. Brands I would check out. Let's keep the questions coming. Let me refresh my page. Facebook, I hate you sometimes. I do love Facebook, but sometimes it's so painful to keep in comments because the refresh rate is just all broken up. I would think DirecTV Now and Dish would have the server bit easier covered. You would think, but there's a lot more people use Sling than use TV Anywhere apps. And Dish doesn't really host that. The channel owners host that. TV Anywhere apps are owned by HBO and so forth. Amazon app on the Apple TV, true or false? That is the rumor. It is rumor that in early June at the Apple event, that Apple will announce that Amazon and Apple have mended ways and they will make it happen. If that is true, and it does happen, and both sides have a reason to make that happen, Apple is trying to sell more devices. Like we talked about earlier, they've had, according to internal reports of highly reliable sources, that internal sales numbers at Apple have not met expectation for the Apple TVs. So Apple expected to sell more than they really are. That was one of the reasons why they decided to do a deal with AT&T to give free Apple TVs away. I'm sure Apple's getting some money, just not full price on that. In an effort to try to flood the market. So Apple has a reason to say the number 2 streaming service in the United States is Amazon Video. Amazon Video sells more movies than iTunes, Google Play combined. Google Play and iTunes combined sell like 2/3 of what Amazon sells. Amazon rents more movies than anyone. They rent more movies than Redbox. So Apple has a reason. And Amazon does too, because they want to sell more stuff. If they can get Apple to agree to it, that's great. Amazon would like, hey, yeah, we want to sell more stuff. Now, this is where it gets tough. Amazon has said, basically, we made an app that was limited for iOS and iPhones, where they didn't allow the sale of videos and movies, because Apple says if you sell anything through any apps in our app store, you have to pay us like 30% of the sale price. And when you're renting a movie or selling a TV show for like $1.99, and you have to pay the movie rights, cover your costs, and so forth, Apple, given 30% of that is not something you can easily do. So somebody's going blank. Either Amazon, who has said we will never make an app again without an app store in it, or without a store in it to sell movies and TV shows, etc. Or Apple's going to blank and give them a sweetheart deal. Apple has kind of announced that they're being a little bit more relaxed on that on a company by company basis, and word is that Sling TV and I think PlayStation Vue, DirecTV Now got deals that they don't have to give the full 30%. Others like YouTube have just been charging more. If you subscribe to YouTube TV and iTunes, you will pay more than if you go to tv.youtube.com and subscribe there and then log in on your iOS device. Who blinks? That's the question. No one knows. It could be not true at all. All these reports could be wrong. So we'll have to wait and see. But either if it happens, somebody blinked. Was it Apple? Was it Amazon? We may not know. Apple and Amazon may have come up with a sweetheart deal where Amazon only pays 3%, 5% of their market share to Apple. And there we go. As far as Apple, it's really not in their interest almost, to be honest with you, to have Amazon on there. Because right now, if you want to buy or rent a movie, you pretty much have to do that through iTunes. That's the easiest way on the Apple TV. If Amazon shows up on the Apple TV, starts renting and selling movies and TV shows, Apple makes a lot less money because it's not going through iTunes. So there you go. All right. Glad Core Card's news is around. I recently really appreciate on how he emphasizes on not using piracy channels. Thanks, Terry. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I think when we use piracy, we just hurt our ability to get legal apps. So, more legal apps we use, the bigger the market is, more people will make legal services for core carders. David, the reason why some channels block out advertisements and so on is because of this gets complicated, but in short-term unions have contracts, and there's different stages. If you're an actor and you're in a commercial for a regional, it's only made to show in like Austin, Texas. You only get so much money. If it's a national ad going on air across the United States, you get more money. If it's a worldwide ad, you get more money. Well, it gets all kinds of complicatedness, paying, streaming rights, association, guilds. There was almost a strike over that recently with the writers. So it gets complicated. I think most channels now have found a way to stream ads on Sling TV and so forth and get those deals done. But in short, they didn't want to have to pay more money to their actors and so forth because their contract didn't allow them. Their contract only allowed them to use it for specific purposes. And it basically just comes down to union rules, to be honest with you. Apple does have plenty of money. The question is, does Apple have the time to focus on the Apple TV? And for a long time, the answer was no, they didn't spend time on the Apple TV. Travel mug, then coffee mug. Well, I got my coffee mug here. And then I got a regular glass of water right here too. So I got both today. All right, so let's keep moving on here. I think if I missed any questions, re-ask them right now because we got about 10 minutes and then this is over today. I haven't had dinner yet. I'm getting kind of hungry. Do you think there will be more over-the-air channels have their own streaming channels like Comet TV? Yes and no. I think streaming will become more popular. I think over-the-air TV will become more popular. It's just, I think both can exist side by side and both will flourish. So I say yes to both of those ways I answered that. PlayStation Vue is missing SportsTime Ohio. Yeah, they don't have a contract. Contact SportsTime Ohio, contact PlayStation Vue, tell them both you want it. there's some channels that you want on a particular service, contact that channel, contact that service, tell them both that you want it. Those companies do pay attention. They both have to agree, but they do pay attention to what the demand is out there. Am I in trouble as far as streaming goes? If Shield is my primary device, no development? No. NVIDIA is by far the flagship device of the Android TV lineup. NVIDIA is pouring a lot of money into their own develop of the Android TV market. The NVIDIA Shield is not going anywhere. NVIDIA Shield, for example, NVIDIA struck a deal with Amazon to create a custom app for their NVIDIA Shield and preload it on there when Android TV doesn't have a default Android or Amazon app. So NVIDIA Shield, no matter what happens to Android TV, is a good buy. I don't think they're going anywhere. Why is there no standard? Blaine, I don't know that question. I really don't know. I have a Roku 3, and I want to know, let's say in 5 years, will they stop rolling out updates about that lately? Been thinking about that lately. Possible. I mean, so Roku just announced Generation 1. So anything from 2010 and newer and older are not being supported. So 08, 09, and 010 devices, the very first Roku devices, will keep working. The apps aren't being shut down. They're going to keep working, but they're not going to update it anymore. You won't get any new looking apps. And the reason for that is it's not physically able to support it. So Roku has said, okay, we can't keep updating it. The hardware isn't physically able to do what the new ones can do. Okay, you have the Roku TVs. I'll answer that too. Same question here, Jimmy. But we're not going to shut it off. We're going to keep support going for as long as we can. So that's great news. Roku has been one of the more dedicated ones. Like Apple, the Apple TV 4 came out, and guess what? Apple TV 3, not getting the App Store, not getting more help there. So, unfortunately, at some point, all things lose support. Some of those original devices were 10 years old when Roku announced that, hey, it's going to keep working, but we're just not going to update it anymore. 10 years for a streaming player is pretty good. So if you have a Roku 3, you probably have 5, 6, 7 years from now. 5, 6, 7 years from now, pretty much everybody will be on 4K, HDR, so forth. You're probably going to want to upgrade anyways, just because that's just an HD device. Your TV in 5, 6 years may not work anymore. When you buy one, it's going to be a 4K one because that's all they're really making now. So that's my recommendation. I wouldn't worry about it. You have a Roku TV, same story. For instance, Huizenga, or however you say it, they announced they weren't going to be selling in the United States anymore. They're backing out of the U.S. market. I forget where they're from. They're going to go more on an international market where Roku isn't, so they're going to drop the Roku line. Roku announced that those TVs with Roku's built in, Roku's going to take care of you. You're still going to get the updates. Roku's going to do all the development for them and promises ongoing support. So Roku's one of the good companies. Roku, as the apps are forced to update, will they not work on older Rokus? No, you're just going to only get the older Roku app. They just said that old version of the app, like the Netflix app that doesn't autoplay and all the other stuff, that's what you have. That's what you're going to be stuck with. So I wouldn't worry about it. Roku is good about taking care of their customers. Is the NFL Network going to show a real football game this year? Well, they got the Thursday night games. They got 10 Thursday night games, I believe. So check that out. Nice update. Fox Now app on the Apple TV and a few others. They've been rolling it out. I think the Fire TV is scheduled to get it. Roku's scheduled to get the new version. We'll have to wait and see when that happens. But yeah, the new Fox Now app is pretty nice. Kind of combines Nat Geo, FX, everything in one app instead of having separate apps, which is what it should be. There's no reason to have 5 different apps there. Let's keep going here. Yeah, Jerry, you're right. Most equipment usually has 7 to 10 years before support ends, Windows, so on. I mean, let's be honest. Google had like a 3-year support when for Google TV. Apple TV is known as soon as the next device is up. I mean, your support for the older one's just done. That's just the way Apple does it. So Roku is one of the more lenient, and they do the best to take care of older devices. Will DirecTV Now ever come out with an app on NVIDIA Shield? Probably. Android TV is on the list of ones supported. Twitter is talking about streaming sports. Yes, Twitter has a ton of new streams coming out very soon. They have a ton of new content, and they're soon going to be launching a 24/7 live stream of a news channel this fall. So it'll be their first 24/7 channel. We do now, though, on Twitter, it's kind of hard to find out what's there. I've hooked up with Twitter's PR. They're every Monday now. They're sending me a list of everything that's going to be on Twitter live that week, and we're posting it Monday afternoons, evenings. So you can get a look at seeing what's coming up on Twitter that week, and it's really good. Any inside info on BritBox? I met with the CEO of BritBox. Really nice woman. She has great plans for BritBox. I'm very excited where BritBox is going. No, nothing new, but I have a feeling BritBox is going to be one of those devices. If you're into that, that's the way you want, that's going to be an excellent service. It is an excellent service, but it's going to be even better service down the road. Very impressed with BritBox. Yeah, so let me wrap this up. I got time for maybe 3 more questions. Sorry, I don't do any dancing on stream, but thank you for asking. I don't think anybody wants to see that. That would probably lose me a lot of subs. I would probably lose a lot of readers, a lot of subscribers. But while we got a quick moment before everybody leaves, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you're on Facebook, hit the subscribe button if you're on YouTube. And hey, we're giving away a Roku Premiere. Visit CourtCarsNews.com and check out our Roku Premiere. And right here's the Roku Premiere you could win. And we have a side click. This is a universal add-on. It goes on the side of your Roku remote where you can control your TV. It's program your volume, your inputs, your power button, all that stuff. So yeah, so there it is. You can go to Court Cars News. You may have to go to page 2 to find it. The sun is setting a little quick today. So we're going to have to wrap this up here in about 4 minutes. Just want to take a moment and say thank you. You know, we got a few hundred people here right now. Really appreciate between Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. Everybody here has been really supportive of Court Cars News. Couldn't do this without you. One of the most rewarding jobs I've ever had is this job. And I want to say thank you to everybody who visits the site without an ad blocker, donates, buys something through our Amazon link, and so on. You guys are amazing, you ladies too. I know a growing number of our viewers are women. That percentage of men to women is going up. And that's good news for cord cutting, because when more women are involved, that means something's happening right there. And it's really great to see. You know, I'm seeing more and more of, how do I convince my husband to be a cord cutter? That's pretty cool. I love to hear that. So thank you everybody for your support. Thank you for being out there. And we love having you guys support Court Cars News. I really appreciate it. So last questions. Anybody else got a quick one? Otherwise, we'll wrap this up here in about 1 minute. Is this my only job? Yes, Jimmy. For the last 2 years, Court Cars News is my full-time job, all 80 plus hours a week. Haven't taken a day off in over 2 years. So lately, my Roku 4 Ultra, when I began to stream YouTube video, right when the ad starts, I sometimes get a flash purple HTTP message for a second, an ad, and then the video plays fine after. A couple of things there, Harrison. Damaged HDMI cables can do that. You could check your HDMI cable, see if it's damaged at all. HDMI cables on Amazon are like $3. Get a new one. The other thing is it could be the app is corrupted. Uninstall it, reinstall it, see if that fixes it. Otherwise, reach out to Roku tech support. I have not experienced that. I haven't heard of that, but those errors are pretty common. If you Google that, HPC, whatever, it'll give you a few other suggestions on how to address that. New PlayStation View channels? Nope, nothing new there. Let's see here. Anything on YouTube? When we announce the winner of the Roku Premiere. So how this works is, so tonight, the giveaway's over. Tomorrow morning when I get in the office, depending on how busy I am, I will email the winner of the giveaway. And I like to wait until I hear back from the winner before I announce. You'll be surprised how many times people get contacted and they either say they don't want the prize and then I give it away to somebody else, or they don't reply within the 1 week time frame. You have to reply to us in a week to get your prize. So as soon as I hear from the person back, I will make a post. I'll try to do that within 48 hours. I will contact the winner tomorrow morning sometime, maybe midday if it's a particularly busy day. So that's how it's going to work. I hope this has helped everybody. And I hope everybody gets something out of this. Every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern is our new time. For about an hour, I'll do a Q&A and try to answer your cord cutting related questions. So thank you for being here. Please subscribe. Please hit like. That's another. If you don't have to donate. If you want to use ad blockers, we're not going to block you right now. I know many sites are doing that. We don't have any plans on doing that. But hey, if you're on Facebook, if you're on Twitter, hit the thumbs up, hit the like button, not just on this video, but on random ones and random posts on Facebook and Twitter. That really does help us. The more people who like the stuff, it jumps up the number of people who will see it. So hopefully that helps. Just randomly, whenever you see a story from Cord Cutters News, hit that thumbs up button and help us out there. Have a great day. See you next Wednesday. Did I say Thursday? Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm running on like 3 hours of sleep last night, and it's been quite the day. Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on Facebook and YouTube. And thank you, Fast, for thumbing up all of them. So that's it. Everybody have a great day. I'm going to go have dinner. I hope you all have a great night. I'll see you next week. Otherwise, make sure to subscribe. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Take care, everybody.